Well, Heather, thanks for sitting down and being willing to share some of your story.
Yeah.
You reached out a year and a half ago
Yes.
about a financial thing. You had sent Paul a long email. He forwarded it over to me, and we used like a really, really small part of your story. I remember even telling you back then of like, your story's too big for the moment we want to use right here, so let's use it in the future. And so here we are. Welcome to the future. So, married, couple kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Married and I have 2 kids.
How old are your kids?
10 and 7.5.
7. What are their names?
Penelope and Natalia.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty good kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had this heart for your kids. You and your husband both did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all have this heart for our kids, but you wanted to provide something for them. Tell me about that journey.
Yeah, so we've always just rented houses, and we never like had anywhere stable, I guess, because after a year your lease ends and then the rent goes up. So being a young couple, I had both of them before I was 23. So we were very young, and we were just bouncing from place to place.
Yeah.
And we just never felt grounded. We never had a house. So that's something that I always wanted to provide for my kids, but I didn't know how I was going to. Money was tight, things were tight. I just didn't know if it was the right time or whatever it was. COVID happened, so everybody was
wrecked
like,
all of us.
what
Yeah.
is happening? So, so COVID happened, and I clean houses. I have my own business, and my husband was laid off from his job because the steel factories closed down. And so before that, we had some infidelity issues in our marriage. My husband had an affair, and I found out exactly when COVID happened about her. So that was very hard on me, and on our family. My kids were very young, so we didn't say anything about it. I just kept my cool, but I lost it inside.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I could even think about was, God help me, you know. It was very, very difficult for me because it's betrayal.
Yeah.
You don't think you're getting married to like step out, right?
Yeah.
Or to be in that position to have 2 kids and then you're a mom and have to put on this face of, oh, I'm fine, and yeah, let's go play Barbies or go ride your bike. It's very difficult. So through that, I found God in a place that I didn't think I'd find him. And I found forgiveness for my husband. I love him dearly. And no marriage is perfect. And I get that. But knowing that God forgave me for a lot of things that I've done helped me forgive him.
Yeah.
So we worked on that. He moved back in because Dwayne shut everything down and was like, lock your doors. I didn't know if the army was coming through the streets.
Right.
Nobody knew what was happening. So, so he moved back in because obviously everybody was 6 feet distance, can't talk to nobody, wear a mask, all that stuff. And I wasn't a fan of masks. So I was like, well, either immediate family or not, keep my distance. And so he moved back in, steel factories, shut down. I had my cleaning business. For some reason, everybody was at home, but they didn't want to clean their house. So my business soared. We started doing 3 houses a day. We were cleaning 5 days a week. My kids were at daycare and being watched by my family members. And we just kept it going. So he started working with me. And I got a new client, and he did home loans. And so I asked him, I tried to buy a house 8 years ago when my daughter was 2, my oldest daughter, Penelope, when she was 2. And I was a young single mom. Our relationship has always been rocky. So it was just me and her, and I couldn't afford it. So I just gave up on it.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, I'll check it out. I'll look into it for you. So he did. And he was not very nice about it, but he told me no. He flat out told me no. He said, you cannot get a house right now. You have X amount of debt. You need to get rid of all of this stuff. and you, you know, you're going to have to work hard to get it done. And I don't like being told no. So it lit a fire. And so we started cleaning and started busting out houses. But during, like cleaning houses, I listened to sermons all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Because I was hurting so bad. I was trying to, like, you know, patch the pain a little bit.
Sure.
So I would get an earphone and he would get an earpiece. And my husband's Hispanic, so he speaks Spanish, I speak Spanish. And so we would listen in Spanish to these sermons, random ones we would find on YouTube. But they were hours, 5 hours a day for 5 days a week. And we were just busting out houses. So we were both getting God and listening to sermons, and we started to grow spiritually together. Started paying off debt one by one. Everybody got stimulus checks. We were able to pay off our van. And then we paid off, just random things that you don't think about. I can't even remember the bills now. But there was a lot.
Yeah.
There was over $60,000 that we paid off just to get a house. We paid off my car within 8 months of paying off the first one. Like, it was like, Dave Ramsey does it backwards. He does smallest debt to biggest.
Yeah.
I did my biggest to smallest. Okay. Because for me, the biggest debt gave me the most, anxiety about things. So I listed the biggest debt and I paid those off. And then the little ones, they just trickled off as soon as you get the big debt paid off, and then you're free. I'm free. So I went back to him after 2 years, I believe. It was like a year and a half, 2 years. And he recalculated everything and finally told us that we were approved and could get a house. At that point, we hadn't taken a vacation in probably 2 years because we were busting out houses and just getting it done. So we took a vacation to Texas for the first time, and when we got back, we house hunted, put in 6 offers. This was the 7th house, so we put an offer on, and it finally got accepted, and then we were able to buy our house.
Awesome.
So, went debt-free.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So going back to some of those harder moments, if you had to point down to what you were chasing, is there something that you were chasing in those moments? Was it a dream that you had for your family that kind of drew your attention? This idea of I'm chasing this instead of God? Could you label what you were chasing in that season of life?
Like my house?
Well, anything in that moment. Did the house signify something for you? Was it just the
It was
house?
more that we were planted and that we were grounded. We lived in a trailer home. It was a new mobile home that we rented because of my daughter was starting kindergarten. So we found a good school district in Kings, and it was there.
Yeah.
Mobile homes get a bad rap, but really that was probably the best 4 years. Everybody watched out for each other. You're
cool.
literally right next to each other, so how could you not? Which I guess makes them kind of nosy too. It's okay. But yeah, if you live in a trailer home, right, they're on wheels, right? And you just don't. I just kept picturing the house, a tornado coming through, and then the house goes away like Dorothy, And I just we didn't feel like we were home, if that makes sense. And so obviously I wanted my kids to have their own room, decorated how they want it. They're complete opposites of one another. I've got a really sportsy kid, and then I have a gymnast. So it's a lot more diva in there too. So one's very tomboyish and the other one's very girly girl. Yeah. I wanted them to have their own rooms, their own personal space. Things where they would be proud to be in their room. Yeah. A backyard to run in. We actually just installed our fence last year. We did that together. That was a hard job, but but to have a backyard to run in. Trailers only had this much amount of, land to play in, and they were little, so we were just growing out of our house, and we didn't want to have any more children. We weren't at the place in our life. I don't think that would have been the best to have a child during that time when there was a lot of trust issues. So we just wanted them to be able to grow and have their own things and, be planted, be here, to walk in the door, be calm. When I walk in my house, which I know sounds weird, but when I walk in my house, I'm home. Yeah. I'm calm. Yeah. I could stay here forever and, it'd be fine. I feel safe here. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing.
Do you think maybe that's what the idea you were chasing was? I want this safe place that's ours, that our life is kind of grounded and it's found
Yes, because it was so chaotic.
Yeah.
Like COVID, what was that, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
It's chaotic. Everything was chaos.
Yeah.
And every single Christian I know too since COVID has been fighting like some sort of spiritual thing going on. Just from being in women's Bible study, you hear all these testimonies, and they're amazing, and they're also very, very, very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of us were chasing some normalcy.
Yeah,
like
sure.
Everybody wants to be normal for a minute and breathe and not have the world be crazy, even though it is. But they just want the calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somewhere in this moment, you do what I think the world would call very radical. So you're like, we're going to buy this house. We're going to pay off this debt. We've created this plan. This is the future. We're going to chase this together. And by the way, we're going to start giving money to the church. We're going to start tithing in this process.
Yes,
we're
about
going to add another financial obligation, how some people view giving. We're going to add that to the process.
Yes, that was scary.
What was, scary, right?
That was very scary.
Yeah.
I never tithed before in my life. I mean, when I was little, my mom would, pass me 2 little quarters to put in a little offering plate. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that was fun for us.
Yeah.
And then, pass the serving plate on. But, it was something that we were listening to in a sermon, and they kept talking about finances. And every single little spot where God wanted us to grow, it would be in our ear. Besides talking about marriage. Because I would specifically, listen. They would be random sermons, but I would search for like help with marriage.
Yeah.
How to get over infidelity, or pain and hurt and heartbreak, because there's a lot of it in the Bible. There's tons.
As well. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, tons. I listened to a sermon, and it wasn't in a spot for me to have like a big ego and like, oh yeah, I'm going to start tithing and this is going to be so easy and I'm so good at it and whatever. It was more of like, I need to trust God more than I've ever trusted him in my life. And with your money, it's personal.
Yeah.
It's very personal. Because you earned it, right? You go out, you work, clean a whole house, you earned it. Sweat, all that. So, I started tithing, but before I did, I prayed, and I said, God, we want to pay our debt off. We want to buy a house. I don't know what other plans you have for us, but I want to be able to give my kids some stability. Yeah. Because I felt like it was just absolutely crazy in our life. So every Sunday I would tithe, and my husband has always been more difficult with his spiritual journey, just like his growth. Sometimes he questions things a lot. But he kept fighting me on it. He's like, why would you give money and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And you're not going to stop me from doing it right now because I need to trust him. So every week I would give my tithe, and it would just, all of a sudden, we were paying off this debt, paying off that debt. We would get gifts in the mail. One time we got like $84 in the mail for like overpayment on something. And it was just like, okay, I see what you're doing. Yeah. Like, I get it. Yeah. So, it just started rolling off. And by the end, it was over $60,000 that we paid off in just 2 years. And it was crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was nothing but God. There's some things in your life where you're just like, well, a lot of times, but you're just like, there is nothing else that can explain that big of something disappearing that quickly. There's no way. Yeah. All
right, so I think it's gonna be a fun moment. Take me to the moment where you get to tell your girls, this is home.
Oh.
Where were you?
Where was I? Oh, actually, it's funny. So we started going to Rivers Crossing when they did the movies. So it was July 4th weekend. You guys started doing that 2 years ago. And so we went that weekend, and July 6th, I don't remember where we were. I guess I should have remembered, but don't remember where I was because we put in 6 offers at that time. This was our 7th offer, and we were just exhausted. Sure. I mean, you have to sign 50 sheets every single time you send in an offer. Don't remember where we were, but I remember they accepted the offer, and I called my husband, and he was like, doubting Thomas. He was like, "Are you sure?" Because we got denied. Everybody had cash flow, like cash,
Right.
$200,000 in cash to like put down on a house because COVID was like, the market was great.
Right.
And here we are just paying off debt, and we're like, we have nothing to give right now,
Right.
so please help. But every night we would pray with our kids. We prayed with our kids every single night. And we're like, please, God, can we have a house? We would love a house. So for 2 years straight, we were praying for a house. Mm-hmm. We didn't even have it. We didn't have our debt paid off. We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
And being self-employed is 10 times harder to get a house. And I didn't know that at the time. But now I do.
Yeah.
So this is probably our first and last house. But it's very hard. And so we found out it was July 6th. I do not remember where we were at. But I just remember telling my kids, and they were so excited. And they're like, which house, which house, which house? Because 6 of them. This is our 7th one.
Yeah.
And we actually checked out a house that was like 5 houses down on the other side. And so they're like, was it that house? And I was like, no, because we wanted a basement. You tell God, hey, God, I want... Oh, and I heard you have to be specific with your prayers with God. Otherwise, sometimes you ask for something, and then he gives you something else, but not how you wanted it, right? It's like, we want a basement, and we want this max amount of rooms. We want some land, But this house does not have a basement, but it's perfect. I cut the grass the day after we closed, and I was like, God, thank you. I did not want to cut 2 acres of grass, Thank you for giving me this. So, yeah, I'm not sure where we were at, but the kids were so excited. So when we came over here, because once you sign the paperwork, you're in contract. And we just hung out. We came over the house and we walked around the house, and we were so excited.
That's
Looked through the windows.
Yeah.
Picked rooms. I don't even, to be honest, I don't remember walking through this house.
Huh.
Like, I remember it, but I didn't remember, like, because you walk through the house and you're like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Like, we've changed a lot of things. It was really outdated when we bought it. There was no updates. So we've done that over a couple of years.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something that I was like over the moon about. So I didn't really pay attention to it. So when I found out, I was like, oh, that's great. Now we can make our house a home.
Yeah.
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 Very cool. So I think too oftentimes we, in the story right there, right,
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, I was chasing this, and then my heart shifted, and then now everything is perfect. But when we were actually
No, it's not.
emailing back and forth to set things up, life has thrown you some curveballs recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So you're here in a big leg brace right now.
Whole leg brace.
Yeah, just had ACL surgery.
I did.
Got that curveball, and then
Yes. Very big curveball. I'm in the early stages of it. I just had surgery 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
But I do not like it. And when you go to prayer to God and you tell him you don't like something and he doesn't answer you and you're very frustrated about it, it hurts.
yeah,
Yeah. Like, this is a big season in my life that I never thought would happen.
Yeah.
And I do not like sitting down. I have to be up all the time going.
yeah,
I clean houses for a living. That's
Right.
what I do. I have 2 kids. Both of them are in sports. One's in club soccer. Like, we're everywhere.
moving all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. To be told your recovery is going to be 3 to 6 months, and can't do nothing about it.
Yeah.
You can't walk. I can't put weight on my knee. I can't provide for my family, and that is really, really rough for me. Like, really, really rough. Not the sole provider. Obviously, my husband works. I do provide a lot.
Sure.
So yeah, when money's affected, it's scary.
It's easy to retreat then again as well, right? So you were chasing this dream, stability, financial peace, whatever you want to call it. You were chasing it. You started tithing, giving all the way. Like, okay, I'm going to let go of this a little bit. I'm just going to start chasing after God, and then gives me these desires. And then all of a sudden, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Do I keep chasing God? Do I
Crash and burn for a minute.
Yeah.
So I tore it at a parent versus kid soccer game.
Of course.
It was it was their last practice. And they were like, yeah, any one of the parents want to join in. And of course I'm not a soccer, I played volleyball and swam. My husband is the soccer fiend in our house, so he was a little late, and I didn't want my daughter to feel bad, so I got in the game, and I'm like, yeah, I'll play up front and run. Stepped back, and it popped. Immediately, I felt like I could not move. But the worst part of it is my business. I've had my business for 7 years. I've had my business for 7 years. We've been married for 7 years. We just had our anniversary. My youngest one is 7. So, God's divine number. And going into this year, I was like, either, there's going to be a lot of spiritual warfare because our marriage is tight now. We're a lot better than what we used to be.
Yeah.
Still things we have to work on. But, it's something when you're told that you can't work for 3 months minimum. Your recovery should take 3 to 6 months, depending on how it heals and how you therapy and all that stuff. We have no idea. I haven't even started therapy yet.
Right.
I can't bend my knee yet.
Right.
And then you lose people that you've been cleaning and seeing for 7 years. It hurts. It hurts really bad.
Yeah.
The betrayal of that. Think about that now that I'm putting it together. You feel betrayed.
Yeah.
Feel like you're just being stabbed in the back. Like, you don't want to feel used, but because it's a service. But I also connect with my company, my business. I have a relationship with my clients.
Yeah.
Love them, love their kids. And then just to be dropped like that, it's really difficult.
Yeah.
But I guess God was preparing the way.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, because I dealt with betrayal, and it feels like that, and it's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you, when you feel that pain, how do you not stop chasing? How do you, like you said,
Not stop chasing God?
Yeah, like you feel you pray this prayer and then God doesn't answer right away. Sometimes God's quiet. Sometimes He answers how we don't want Him to. The situations that we've all been through. How do you not pull back?
Lose my faith?
Yeah. How do you keep chasing God?
I think I chase Him harder. Because I want an answer. I want something from Him. I want communication. I don't want things.
Yeah.
I just want to know, which it always is. He's always good.
Yeah.
That no matter what happens in your life, whether your husband has an affair, because I've also lost a child, whether you lose a baby, or you're financially stuck, or you lose your business, and only a certain amount of people stay with you after 7 years. He's always good, and there's always a purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is right now, but I was reading in Romans 5 where it says your trials will build character and perseverance. So why I'm sitting, I don't know the plan yet.
Yeah.
So maybe check back in a couple months.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I know something good is going to come after it because God is good.
Yeah.
He is always good, no matter what. And I always want to be close to Him just because I need that.
Yeah.
I need a father, and I need somebody to lead me, and I just want to have that closeness with Him so that I can, I talk in my head all the time, pray in my head all the time to Him. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm frustrated. I can't walk. I'm sitting down. I can't work for 3 months. Who knows if I've even, what am I going to do? It's difficult. I don't know what I'm doing right now. And everything's very chaotic. But it's helping my husband lead better. He is now financially the sole provider of our family. He's never done that before. And I've always worked.
Yeah.
I've always, went hard.
Yeah.
And now he has to take on that responsibility. And I kind of feel bad. But I know that's what men are supposed to do. And husbands and fathers are supposed to lead.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm just keep thinking of Mary and Martha as you share this, and you like to be busy, you like to be active. And
that's me.
Yeah, there may be a moment right now where Jesus is saying, "Why don't you just hang out at my feet for a second?"
Chosen just played that.
Oh, did it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very fitting time. So you're like, "Can I get back in the kitchen and do stuff?"
And
He's like,
I
"Why don't you just hang?"
was balling. Yeah, that's me, big time. And it's not like I won't sit down and listen to His word, but sometimes there is a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it couldn't have happened the best time. The kids are off school.
Mm.
Imagine if they were at school. I cannot walk. I can't even. I'm on crutches, so
Yeah.
lovely crutches. So I can't even carry a bowl to sit down. I can't stand up for more than 5 minutes because I have to put all my weight on my right leg. You know.
Yeah.
So they have been such a huge help.
Yeah.
And they're such great kids. I love them so much.
Yeah.
They're such great kids that they will do anything for their
That's really
mom, which is awesome. So, you know, it's been good so far. It's been bad, but I have more time with my kids. I've wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But right now, I'm forced to be one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, they're just older, and it makes it better though because they can see, like, what mom did. You know, now she cannot do, and there's a lot of stuff that if mom didn't do it, it wouldn't get done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a burden to put on them too, but hopefully we can all just get through it without fighting,
Yeah.
you know, for
I'm
the
sure
next 3 months.
I'm
But,
sure you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem like great kids. We were coming in and setting up. So.
Yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
pretty good kids.
Well, you have a beautiful home.
Thank you.
I'm very happy for you.
Thanks.
And we'll be praying for you for
Yes, please.
fast recovery and
Yeah.
and that your business continues to soar as you chase
When I get
God
back
and,
into it,
and
we'll
get back
see.
into it. So
We'll see what happens. Who knows?
Right.
I might not even be having a business.
Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that open-handedness and the confidence you have in it. That's inspiring. So
Oh, thanks.